We are back with Pentiment, and we are just about to start the official investigation. And let's get into it.
Player says I should find someone to eat with. I can't get that note out of my head. The girl who died and the innocent with her. What could it mean? And who wrote it? Lower Abbey, Shrine. Convent Garden.
I remember they added we added a ton of stuff to the
Journal.
quest log. So let's look at that. Oh yeah. Oh man. Varen's wife. I think that's probably a good person to eat with. Varen's man has departed. Okay. Need to find out why. Yep, I remember that. Can't keep it in his robes all the time, can we? Okay. Since we're right there, we can probably go to Mother Cecilia. I'm assuming she's in the convent. Yeah, in the prioress's house in the convent. So let's go there.
Prioress house.
Nice. Is she not here?
Convent Garden.
Oop.
Convent Garden. Convent Loquarium. Prioress house. Upper Abbey. Convent
That
Loquarium.
scared me. Wait, what
The
is
doors
that?
into the convent are locked to outsiders.
Oh,
Men. Convent Garden. A painting of Hildegard of Bingen, Mother Cecilia's favorite.
Saint Hildegard of Bingen was a Benedictine abbess, visionary, mystic, and prolific writer on a variety of subjects from theology to musical composition to medicine. Wow. Now she's my favorite.
Convent Garden.
Okay.
Tassing is lucky to have so much woundwort naturally growing. I had to buy it back in Nuremberg. Ah, the many-petaled cinquefoil. It grows so easily some consider it a weed.
Oh, kitty. Again.
The sisters certainly keep their garden well tended.
I gotta pet my doggy.
Pet moss fanger.
You can't not pet the kitty. What is this?
Sister Gertrude dries and stores all of her herbs here.
Cool.
Pet moss fanger. Convent Loquarium. Upper Abbey. Convent Loquarium. Upper Abbey.
Okay, then
Prioress
where's...
house.
What is
This
this?
door must lead into the rest of the convent.
Not for me.
Not for me.
I guess I'll come back.
Upper Abbey.
And find Cecilia Leader. I'm guessing she's not here right now.
Lower Abbey. Shrine. Lower Abbey. Lower Abbey.
Then let's go to... Well, I wonder if the wife is here yet. Or maybe we can have lunch with her.
Guest house.
I don't see a horse. Or there was just that one horse. Oh, there she is. Oh man.
Ladies
We're gonna
in
have to
Romeo.
break the news. Oh my
Lower-
god. Is
lower
that another
First
dog?
Gen.
Andy, stop.
Lower Abbey. Lady
It's just-
Salomia.
It's got a funny face. I love it. What is that? Oh.
Player says what's this? A letter to the Baron from Prior Ferenc.
What?
My god. Lawrence was blackmailing Ferenc to get him to perform some kind of occult ritual.
No, I'm.
Option 1 of 2 it s one thing to read books on magic. but few are foolish enough to attempt to actually practice what's written in them. Option 2 of 2 and a wonder Frank was so unsettled when Lawrence arrived. The Baron could have gotten him executed for witchcraft.
Wow.
Option player says some of the substances used in these rituals are dangerous, even lethal, and God forbid someone in the Inquisition finds out about it.
That blackmailing someone into practicing that, like, that's just irresponsible, dangerous. Sad that he's dead, but I stand by what I said. He was an enormous nutbag and a Karen, and just really rude.
Lady Salomia.
Interesting.
Lady Salomia says, "Ah, Master Maler. Would you care to share supper at my table?
Yes.
I would like to talk to you about my late husband."
You don't seem that bothered.
Option 1 of
I
3
wouldn't
NY
be
Lady
either.
Rothvogel. I would be honored to break bread with you. Lady Salomia says, "Thank you. Please, sit." Lady Salomia says, "Bless us, O Lord, and these, your gifts, which we are about to receive from your bounty. Through Christ, our Lord. Amen." Player says, "Amen." Lady Salomia says, "I find myself rather
That
out of
looks so
place here,
fucking good.
without the comfort of the Baron. Thank you for agreeing to share a meal with me, Master Maler."
Man, she comes all the way up here just to find out he's dead. Like, that has to be the worst vacation ever.
Player says, "Of course. The
That
honor is
chicken
mine."
looks so good.
Option 2 of 2. Option 1 of 2. It is a terrible thing. What happened to the Baron? Option 2 of 2. I must admit, I'm surprised you wish to speak with me. Option 1 of 2. It is a terrible thing. What happened to the Baron? Lady Salomia says, "It has given me the shock my life. I am trying to find comfort where can, in my ladies and the Lord."
Chicken. Or quail.
Not that there is much comfort to be found in these cold and dreary alpine towns.
I don't know. They look beautiful. I would love to live in, like, an alpine town with just the mountains behind me and olive forest.
Lawrence and I had meant to take a tour of them before returning home to Worms, but, well, return we shall. Option 1 of 3. I am sorry for your loss, my lady. Option 2 of 3. But not as you'd hoped. Option Lady Salomia says, "This sorrow is just the first of many, I'm afraid."
Why do you say that?
Are you married yourself, Master Maler?
Hell no.
Option 1 of 2. A woman waits for me in Nuremberg.
Oh,
When
yeah.
I finish my work here, we will be
I
wed.
forgot about her.
Option 2 of 2 and oh, and truth be told, I'm not looking forward to the prospect. Option 1 of 2. A woman waits for
just
me in
air
Nuremberg.
out that dirt, like your
When I finish
laundry
my
like
work
that.
here,
Like,
we will be wed.
come on. I didn't mean to click that.
Lady Salomia says, "Do you not look forward to the responsibilities of marriage, Master Maler? Perhaps it's no surprise you and Lawrence became fast friends."
Listen, we are not alike. I mean, we're like in, I think, the love of art and shared opinions on Martin Luther and languages, but that's it.
I imagine he saw something of himself in you. Option 1 of 2. Rarely have I met someone with such a depth of knowledge and a thirst for debate.
Yeah, we can
Lady
say that.
Salomia says his thirsts were not limited to his scholarly pursuits.
Oh,
Regrettably,
Lee, I know. I'm sorry. Everyone knows. We saw his penis.
his lusts for drink and women once afflicted him with great remorse, though such shame faded with time.
What a pig.
Lawrence was a flawed man. His various infidelities were no secret to me. But are we not all flawed before Christ?
You're very forgiving. I feel like, yeah, we're all flawed, but some of us are flawed without cheating on our wives. I may be applying like a modern sensibility to this historical setting, but still. I feel like, adultery was a sin. There was no, like, ambiguity around that. Ooh, what is frumenti? Emmental cheese and wheat bread. I read that first as elemental cheese.
I loved him as a wife should properly love her husband. But I would not say that we were friends. I
Fair.
only hope his appetites are not what lead him to this end. Player says, "I've been searching for the answer to that quandary myself." Lady Salomia says, "Were you and Lawrence so close that you would trouble yourself so?" Player says, "My motivation is personal." Option 1 of 2. My mentor, Brother Pierrot, was found with the Baron's body, but I do not believe he killed your husband. Option 2 of 2. I am afraid I can say no more than that. Option 1 of 2.
Yeah,
My
why
mentor,
not? Maybe
Brother Pierrot, was found with the Baron's
she'll
body,
give us,
but I do not believe he killed
maybe
your
if
husband.
we're open, she'll be open with us and like give us a hint.
Lady Salomia says if not him, then who? Option 1 of 2 there are many possibilities, both here at the Abbey and in town. Option
Let's just
1
say
of 2
that. I mean, she
there are many.
asked.
Player says your husband managed to cultivate many enemies in his short time here. Lady Salomia says that does sound like
Yeah,
Lorenz.
she's not shocked.
He was a man of many opinions, and he gave them freely, to all who would listen, and some who would not. The previous abbot, Father Matthias, seemed to appreciate that about him. This new abbot is, perhaps more conservative.
Yeah, he fucking sucks. I hate him.
Player says Father Matthias was an open-minded man, from all I've heard. A true scholar.
Yes, and a gentleman.
Father Gernot doesn't share Matthias' passion for the written word, yet endures the expense of it. Lady Salomia says to be put in such a position would make any man unhappy. I understand. I wonder what he will make of Lorenz's gift to the Abbey. Option 1 of 2 WHAT gift was this? Option 2 of 2 wait for her to continue.
Well, we know what gift it was. It was the Historia Tatia.
Lady Salomia says he had found a book about the history of Tassing. He believed it contained some scandalous details. He said it corroborated fears Father Matthias had expressed, but he didn't share the particulars with me.
Oh.
Option 1 of 3 do you have a sense of what the scandals involved? Option 2 of 3 was the appearance of the book peculiar or noteworthy in any way? Option 3 of 3 do you know Father Matthias yourself? Option 1 of 3 do you have a sense? Lady Salomia says beyond the broad basket of Tassing's history, I cannot say. My understanding is that this community is quite old. I'm sorry I can't be of more help. I have some education, but I lack my husband's thirst for knowledge.
Don't say that. Don't put yourself down.
If you find the book, hopefully its significance will be apparent. Option 1 of 2 if God wills it. Option 1 of 2 do you plan to stay in Tassing long? Option 2 of 2 will you be returning home to Worms soon?
Why is it spelling out the first word now?
Option 1 of 2 do you plan to stay in Tassing long? Lady Salomia says only so long as it takes the Archdeacon to investigate my husband's murder. Though the circumstances of my time here are dire, I'm in no hurry to return. Option 1 of 2 why is that, if I may ask? Option 2 of 2 wait for her to continue. Lady Salomia says you are a disarming man, Master Maler, and much too easy to talk to.
Yeah, shutting the fuck up kind of makes a difference sometimes.
To be frank, I do not know what will become of me when I return to Worms. My title and residence may be in jeopardy. Lorenz and I have a son, but he is young yet. I don't know many of the legalities, only that my position is at some risk. Option 1 of 2 you re in a difficult position, my lady. I will pray for your happiness. Lady Salomia says as will I, Master Maler.
Can we seduce her?
Lady
I would
Salomia
like to.
says I am sorry to cut our conversation short, but I fear I must rest. Option 1 of 2 thank you for having me at your table.
Stop spelling it out.
Lady Salomia says be well, Master Maler.
The dog noises.
Whatever anyone says of my husband, I'm certain he appreciated your friendship.
Well, I didn't appreciate it because he yelled at Brother Piero.
Player says
I'll
I
never
should
get
get
over
some
that.
sleep.
Lower Abbey. Who's that?
Pet Christian. Lower Abbey.
No, he's so cute. I like its beard. Okay.
Meadow. Forest. Mill.
What?
Church and Druckers.
I'm assuming no one's available at nighttime anyway. I remember all the doors being locked.
With Drucker House.
Yeah, so.
Drucker House. Central Town Commons. Zimmerman House.
Gosh, I love
Farm.
like when it's nighttime and like people have their lights lit and it looks so cozy.
Gertner Farm.
I love like looking
Central Town. Gertner
like
Farm.
walking around my neighborhood and
Gertner
like
Farm.
seeing all the lights on in the windows.
Gertner
It's just
House.
very soothing. Very therapeutic.
Gertner House. Gertner guest room.
Mhm.
Gertner guest room.
But didn't it say like 2 days left, like in the last video?
Go to bed. Go
So
to bed.
after this,
Go to
I'll
bed.
have 1 day left to solve a murder.
It's getting late. I should get some rest. Option 1 of 2, go to sleep.
That's tight time crunch. Oh,
Ursula
Ursula.
says Andrew.
Are you okay?
Option 1 of 2, God more. Option 2 of 2, stare at this child. Option 1 of 2, God more.
Stare at
Option
this
2 of
child.
2,
Can you
stare at this
be
child.
even more creepy?
Option 1 of 2, God more.
Like, can you imagine, like, if you were a parent, your child comes to you because they can't sleep, and, like, they wake you up, and then you just wake up and sit up in bed, and you don't say anything, you just stare at them? Like, I feel like that would traumatize me as a child.
Option 1 of 2, God. Player says, oh, it's not morning. Ursula says. Player says it's the middle of the night. Ursula. Option 1 of 2, WHAT, are you doing up here? Option 2 of 2, HOW, did you get out of bed? Option 1 of 2,
What are you
WHAT,
doing up
Ursula
here?
says. STF.
Stab. Oh no, is she saying stab?
Player says I see. Ursula says haha.
Okay, maybe not.
Player says would you like me to tell you a story? Would that help you sleep? Ursula says
MM.
Option 1 of 2, HAV, you heard the story of the cat and the cradle? Option 2 of 2, LET me tell you the story of the little girl who haunted the sleepy artist. Option Ursula says.
Oh, because we're telling her an actual story.
Player says far up north, in Flanders, where Lenhart's mill came from, there's a town by the sea.
Whoa, he looks cool. He looks like he'd ruin my life.
100 years ago, there was a great flood there on the feast of Saint Elizabeth.
The mother of John the Baptist. She became pregnant in old age after it was foretold by the Archangel Gabriel. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce that, but it's a struggle.
You know how mad your dad gets when the water comes through your farm? Well, it was like that, but much worse. If your dad saw Saint Elizabeth's flood, he'd probably lose all his hair on the spot. The waters rose so high that everyone had to leave the town. Many families lost their homes. When the flood waters went down, the townsfolk went to look for survivors. Would you believe that they saw a baby's cradle floating in the water? Ursula says. Player says I know. It strains credulity, but it's about to get even stranger.
I love that he's like speaking to her as if she's a full-grown adult. Like, I know, it strains credulity.
There was a cat on the cradle. It was jumping back and forth to keep the waves from getting in. The townsfolk couldn't believe it, so they slowly rowed their way out to the cradle. And when they looked inside, what did they see but a tiny baby, warm, and Dr. Ursula says goofball. Player says anyway that's why they named the town Kinderdijk.
She's done. She's like, this is unbelievable. I came for realism, and you give me fantasy.
Makes more sense if you know Dutch. Go to bed.
1 day and 8 hours remain. 7 hours. Oh yeah, yeah.
Time to get back to work.
I wonder if these change.
Pycatrix, Key of Solomon,
Oh
and
yeah, no.
Heptameron.
Okay.
Prior Frank keeps giving me all of these books to read. Go to bed.
Wait, those sound like
Go to bed.
occult sounding books. Maybe I'm wrong though.
I really should clean this up. Go to bed. Gertner house.
Night, baby.
Ursula says Andreas PPPBBT. Gertner guest room.
Very eloquent.
Gertner farm.
That food looks good.
Eva. Eva says hello. Andreas. Player says morning. I hope the day is treating you well. Eva says well enough, though there's too much to do and not enough hours to do it all.
Yeah, Mondays, am I right?
The storm made such a mess of the town, and there's the leaks in the roof at home, then there's all that wool, Lord. Player says what's this about wool? Eva says the ewes are near to lambing, so we sheared them last week. I must have spent ages washing all that wool.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot.
Have you ever smelled wet, dirty wool, Andreas? Ugh, there's nothing worse. Now that it's clean, we've got to spin it. and that takes an age all its own. Lord, I don't know where I'll find the time.
Yeah. Life was rough back then.
Option 1 of 3 1T Clara help you?
Ooh.
Option 3 of 3 Do you need any extra hand? I'm always keen to learn a new craft. Eva says we may, but I'm afraid the permission isn't mine to give. Clara, Hetty, Veronica, Cot. Even little Ursula will be there, though she makes mischief more than she helps.
Cute. Oh.
At least the work goes quickly with the women working together. Lively conversation helps pass the time. Sometimes we even get visitors. Option 1 of 2 WHAT kind of visitors? Eva says sometimes the men in town will come by to say hello. Peter, Jörg, perhaps even Otto.
Oh, Otto. The one who likes you.
Option 1 of 2 I didn't realize men were invited. Might I visit? Eva says you are welcome to come. I'm sure the others would be glad of your company. Johann Bauer will be there to keep an eye on us. As long as you stay outside, I can't see what harm you visiting would cause. Option 1 of 3 I'd like to try my hand at spinning. Eva says nothing would make Hetty happier. Het. She's quite the taskmaster. We meet at Johann Bauer's home. Come by in the morning or afternoon and speak to Johann.
Okay.
I should get back to work. It was a pleasure running into you, Andreas. Option 1 of 2 Be well, Eva.
Okay. So we have to stop by in the morning and afternoon. Just not evening time.
Clara. Eva, Clara. Clara says hello, Andreas. Claire says hello, Clara. I have something for you. Clara says oh. Claire says this should be enough to pay my rent, and the tax
Oh yeah, I
will be
forgot we
heavy.
were supposed to do this.
Clara says Andreas. This is far more than your rent payment.
Aww,
We can't accept this.
she's nice.
Option 3 of 3 I insist. It's enough to pay back the abbot. Option 1 of 3 please, Clara. It's the least I can do. You and Peter have been such gracious
Yeah.
hosts. Clara says but Andreas, how did you even find so much coin? Are you sure you'll have enough to spare for yourself?
Don't worry about me.
Option 2 of 2 I convinced Brother Matthew to pay me a bit early. I wanted to be sure you could pay your taxes in time. Option 1 of 2 Don't worry about me,
Don't.
Clara.
I
I'll
don't
be
know. I
fine.
feel like the second option might be a bit like too much detail, like to the point where it might make her feel guilty.
Clara says oh, well, if you're sure. Thank you, Andreas. You don't know what this means to us. Option 2 of 2 it s. Option 1 of 2 I am happy to help, Clara. It's the Christian thing to do. Clara says you're a good man, Andreas. Thank you. I'll let you move on with your day. God bless you.
Oh.
Claire says until later.
Yay.
Gertner Farm.
Can we
Big
talk
Jörg.
to
Big
people?
Jörg says hey, Andreas. You say hello to the girls today? Claire says Eva and Clara. Big Jörg says no, I mean the chickens. Peter, James, and John. They like it when you stroke their back or give them a good scratch under the breast.
We can pet the chickens.
Claire says you named your chickens after the apostles? Isn't that blasphemy? Big Jörg says I guess when you put it plain like that.
Oh.
But I hear
No,
about
it's
the
fine.
apostles every Sunday in Mass. They witnessed Jesus' greatest moments of glory and his darkest trials. And I was thinking, that's how it is with the girls and me. They see everything I deal with around here. Option 1 of 2 THAT makes perfect sense to me, Big Jörg. You have much in common with Christ.
Jeez.
Option 2
Oh,
of 2
that sounds
WORD of
sarcastic.
advice. Don't mention that to anyone else. Especially the father.
Yeah, if it's well-meaning advice, I'd rather
Option
do
1
that
of 2
than
THAT.
sarcasm.
Big Jörg says it's fine. I get it. I'll just call them the girls from now on. Claire says I don't recall your family eating eggs. What do you do with all of them? Big Jörg says oh, we sell them to the Bauers. Clara says we need the extra money for taxes.
Man,
Anyway,
can
I
you
should
even
get
eat your
back to
own
it.
eggs?
Until later, Andreas.
I love eggs.
Claire says until then. Peter.
We can't pet the
Peter.
chickens. Wait.
Gertner House.
Yes,
Peter.
yes. Oh no, never mind. That sucks.
Peter says Andreas. Ill Peter. Ill Peter says God bless you. Johann Bauer Farm.
Oh yeah, can we do the thing now? Who's that?
Hans. Hans says hey, Andreas. Claire says how's it going, Hans?
Aw,
Keeping busy in the field?
he's like 6 years old and he's in the fields already working.
Hans says I guess. Player says. Do you like it? Hans says what? Player says farming. Hans says I never really thought about it.
Yeah, he's a kid.
Dad says it has to get done whether I like it or not. Player says
Damn.
what do you think about, then? Hans says. Uncle Franz said Brigitte might come help with the laundry today. Player says she's Martin's wife, right? She seems nice. Hans says she is. Nicer than Veronica, anyway.
Man, nicer than Veronica.
I wish Brigitte lived here instead of her. Option 2 of 2 say nothing. Option 1 of 2 WELL. You have a good time thinking about your cousin's wife. Option 2 of 2 say nothing. Player says until later. Hans says bye.
Oh, poor kid.
Johan says Andreas. Was just wondering when you turn up. The gaggle said you'd come to watch them spin.
It's been like 10 minutes. How'd word reach you already?
Between you and me, Hetty's not about to let you go once she's got you in her claws.
Ooh,
So I hope you've got a few hours to hunker down and get comfortable.
it's fine by me.
Option 1 of 2
I like
am
getting
happy to spare a few
clawed.
hours. Johan says Hetty'll be glad to hear it. She's got a fondness for you, heaven knows why.
How rude.
Now, I can't let you inside among the unmarried girls, being unmarried yourself. But you're welcome to watch through one of the windows.
Like that's any less appropriate.
Option 1 of 2 while you don't need to worry about me. Johan says good. Nothing matters more for a young woman than her reputation, and Eva and Veronica won't be getting a poor one on my watch. Hetty says, that idiot never did see trouble, he didn't want to jump in feet first. Veronica says you don't think he's gone to Innsbruck?
Oh, Ursula with a little yarn, the ball thing.
Option
So
1 of 2
cute.
WHO are we talking about?
Oh
Option
my
2 of 2
God.
keep listening.
That's so funny to imagine, just like just through the window. What are you guys talking about?
Hetty says Lord no, Innsbruck's got to be small time to the little shit now.
Yeah, you stay quiet when people are
Something more exciting in mind?
Oh, thank you for the follow. Thank you so much, Kevin. You think it's
Cod says it's a big world. Perhaps he intends to explore it. Or escape. Clara
What are we
says
talking
that
about
nobleman
again?
was just murdered up at the Abbey. Eva says Martin picked an awfully convenient time to run off.
Oh, Martin, I forgot. Oh, yeah, I guess he did run away, didn't he? That doesn't look suspicious at all.
Cod says oh, Lord. Clara says Andreas was friends with the nobleman. Do you think Martin could have, you know? Option 1 of 3 WHAT motivation could Martin have possibly had? Option 2 of 3 I am not ruling anyone out just yet.
Yeah, I want to
Option
know
1
what
of
the
3
motivation would have
WHAT
been.
motivation could Martin have
Like,
possibly had?
yeah, he could have been, like, stealing from him. But I can't imagine, like,
Option 1 of 3 WHAT motivation could Martin have possibly had?
like, things turned, like, unless, like, things had, like, just, like, unfolded so badly that he had to kill him. But, which I guess, like, because he's rash and, like, young, maybe he felt like he had no choice, but I feel, I don't know, I don't buy it yet.
Clara says it's not our place to say. Hetty says Martin
Just
has
say
a
it.
nasty little habit. Cod says he's gotten better. Johan says once a thief, always a thief, I say. Option 1 of 2 I saw Martin running away from the Abbey the morning Lawrence was killed. Option 2 of 2 I don't think this is appropriate for me to discuss.
You know,
Option 1
I
of 2
remember
I saw
Martin.
running away from the Abbey the morning Lawrence was killed.
No, is this Among Us? It is, isn't it? Like, the bubbling cauldron is so nice,
Option 1 of 2
so
I saw
soothing
Martin
to the
running away
ears.
from the Abbey the morning Lawrence was killed.
I remember Martin being covered in what looked like dirt when I saw him, but maybe it was blood. Also,
Option 2 of 2 I don't think
don't
this is
say this when
appropriate for me
people
to
are already
discuss.
gossiping.
Option 1 Cod says God. No. Eva says Martin might be a thief, but I don't think he's a murderer.
I don't think so
He's
either.
a coward at heart.
Yeah.
Clara says you think
He's
it
like
takes
12.
a brave man to commit a murder?
No.
Johan says not a brave man, but a bold one. And Martin is not that.
Exactly.
Hetty says he's your problem, Cod. What do you think? Could he have killed that man? Kot says. Veronica says Mom. Johan says this is a matter best left to the proper authorities, not a spinning bee. Imagine being tried by a gaggle of peasant women.
Well, that's rude. I mean, like, if it was like a jury, justice by jury, then it would be these, like, it could be like some of these
Eva
women.
says that's unkind, Johan.
Yeah.
Johan says it's the truth, isn't it? Doesn't matter if it hurts your feelings.
Oh my god.
Option 1 of 2 she is right, Johan. You're being unfair.
Johan is letting us listen in, so we probably
Option 2
should
of
say
2
nothing.
say nothing. Hetty says Andreas, if you're just going to stand around, how about I put you to work? Johan says if you're going to gossip with the girls, you might as well spin with them, too.
She is, though. Is she not? Oh wait, is he talking with me? Oh yeah, I can do that.
Player says how does this work? Hetty says draft wool from the distaff and twist it tight, then spin the tight yarn onto the spindle. Once there's enough yarn on the spindle, collect it at the bottom and begin again. Draft, twist, spin, collect, repeat. You'll figure it out.
Oh. What did I do?
Player says damn thing.
Oh. Oh, okay. I just click on it when it starts flashing.
I've got it.
Easy. Kevin, I heard about this game.
I took Ursula to play with Brett's daughter the other day.
Wow, I don't actually remember. Pentiment. How did I hear about this game? Oh, it was through a coworker. They were playing it. It was just like some discussion in our Slack channel, in the gamer channel, and they were talking about how they were playing it, and looked it up on Steam, and it sounded really, really cool. It's basically like a historical murder mystery. I'm about like 4 hours in right now, and the murder part just happened, so we're like trying to get more information from the villagers and investigate, and because like one of our friend and mentor is being accused of the murder, even though there's like no possibility of him doing it because he's a really old man with like a sore on his hand, so it is really fun. I uploaded the past recordings to YouTube, so you should give it a try, or just watch it. I think you'd like it a lot. I've only just started playing this game. I haven't been playing anything else but TFT, but I've heard really good things about the return of the Oberdin, which is the next game I'm going to play. And then also really good things about Strange Horticulture, which is also what I'm going to play either next or after the return of the Oberdin. But the Oberdin looks super cool and gives the terror vibes, because it's like also historical, I think like the 1800s, and it takes place on a ship, I think. Or it's about like a lost ship returning, and you have to figure out what happened to it.
And there was a strange man in the bakery. Johan says, was he polite to you? I can't believe Ulrich would stand for anything less. Eva says he was very reserved. Dark skin, quite tall, and wearing a tunic. Clara says he liked the rye bread, I remember. Hetty says, who is this man? Why am I just now hearing about this? Kot says, I believe he is staying at the Abbey.
Yeah, right? It looks really cool. I like the art style. And it's really cool because I heard that like there's like this mechanic in the game where I think you can like replay like a scene in the past, like a murder or something, and like figure out what happened. And he is in the bedroom right now.
Veronica says that must be Brother Sebat. Brigida and I saw him walking up there after visiting the shops. He seemed lost. Hetty says, where is he from? Does he speak German? Christ, I hate being the last to know.
It's my time to shine. This is riveting gameplay.
Hetty says you know, I saw Big Yurt talking to that nun again. The young one. Johan says had. Who can blame him? Hetty says god damn it, Johan.
Wait, what are they talking about?
Johan says ha ha ha. Clara says he knows she's trouble. I told him to stay away. Veronica says she's very pretty, isn't she? In a mean way? Clara says pretty, perhaps, but a nun all the same. He knows better. Eva says when has that ever stopped Big Yurt from doing anything? Hetty says we have plenty of pretty girls here in town. My Veronica's not half bad. Veronica says mom.
Mom. I love the splatter. The emphasis.
Johan says let's not give Andreas any ideas, eh?
Yes. Yeah. I'm getting so good at this. It is satisfying to... I got an achievement! Quick
Clara
fingers.
says Brigida has been spending a lot of time at her mother's house lately.
Weaving.
Agnes is glad to have her home, and Lucky's always treated her like a daughter, but I can tell they're concerned. Are Brigida and Martin having trouble, Veronica? Veronica says that's one word for it. Brigida does what she can, but nothing pleases Martin. He won't lift a finger for her or Wolf.
Oh, the baby. He looks like a little bean. Like a green bean.
He's such an asshole.
Did that word exist back then? In the 1500s, asshole?
Johan says well, that's not his business, is it? Women's work, and all that. Veronica says you ever seen him doing much men's work, Dad? Johan says can't say I've ever seen him do much work at all.
Oh, brutal.
Clara says perhaps Lucky
He
can
is an
talk some
asshole.
sense into Martin. He's always been a devoted husband and father. Kot says Lucky Steinauer is the model of what a man should be.
Can I get another achievement?
Player says
Fuck.
hell. Otto
Oh,
says is everyone behaving
You
himself?
scared me for a second.
Veronica says oh, it's you.
It's like unmarried men can't enter the room while these ladies are gathering because they're unmarried. But so like they have to like look through the window and like talk through the window. But that just seems like way more
Hetty says afternoon. Otto.
inappropriate.
Don't you see
Yay!
anyone
Thanks
special?
for the follow, Scoots.
Eva says hello, Otto. It's good to see you. Otto says I heard laughing from the road and knew you all had to be up to no good in here.
It's Flynn Rider.
And look, there's Andreas. Have you been minding your manners? Old Johan here's a real stickler for propriety. Option 1 of 3 I fear I've been yoked to the wheel of propriety my entire life. Option 2 of 3 JUST learning a new skill, Otto. Nothing nefarious here. Option 3 of 3 I've mostly been listening, actually. Option 2 of 3 Johan says it's true, he's been a perfect gentleman.
Yeah.
Otto says maybe that's why he's not married. Clara says Otto, be nice. Johan says too much time with those books, not enough time working. Otto says we all know you work hard in the fields, Johan, no need to boast. Hetty says he works hard in other places, too.
Oh my god. Is she saying he fucks hard? Is that what he's saying? Or is she saying?
Veronica says mom.
Oh god. The fact that that's her mom makes it so much worse too.
Hetty says you've been in town a few months, Andreas. Got any burning questions you've been meaning to ask? Option 1 of 3 ABOUT Kier
Kevin, did you bring all these people in here? Eagle Death, thanks for the follow.
Option 2 of player says I heard Baron Rothvogel was involved in a tragic affair in Tassing.
Yes.
It's a very sad story. Clara says one that's not entirely appropriate to discuss, even
Just
here.
say it.
Eva says oh, just tell him. He knows enough.
Thank you.
Otto says he should know the truth about his friend the Baron. Anyway. Option 1 of 3 YES, I'd like to know. Clara says the grave belongs to Lucky and Agnes' first daughter, Beat, and her unborn
The
child.
kid is sus. She's just sleeping. She's too young for this. The grave belongs to Lucky and Agnes' first daughter. Beat. Beat and her unborn child.
Player says, why are they buried out in the middle of the forest? Kot says,
Oh, I bet they had an affair, or she had an affair with the Baron, and then had problems with childbirth, and they, like, maybe died in childbirth, and then they just buried her to cover it up.
Clara says, Hetty says she killed herself.
Oh, that's even worse.
Kot says it's not quite that simple. Clara says she had an affair with the Baron and fell pregnant.
Yep.
Kot says that man promised her the moon and the stars. Clara says when her pregnancy was discovered, the Baron abandoned her. Otto
Oh,
says
it's
the
even
heartless
worse than I
bastard.
thought.
Hetty says it's her fault, isn't it?
It's not her
She should
fault.
have known
That's
better.
victim blaming.
Veronica says what is wrong with you? Hetty says Veronica Bavarian. Johan says girls, you're causing a scene. Clara says. Beat asked her mother for help with restoring her cycle. She refused.
What does restoring her cycle mean?
Agnes and Lucky told her that they would find someone for her to marry, that everything would be alright. We don't know if Beat was scared or, well, she took matters into her own hands.
I know. They can't come inside because they're unmarried. And, like, that would be inappropriate. But it just seems like it's much creepier that they're out the window just, like, hanging out. Was scared or... Oh.
It ended with her death. Option 1 of 2. It is quite easy to miscalculate the dose of an abortifacient.
Oh, okay.
An error can be fatal.
So maybe that's what restoring her cycle meant.
Johan says an Aver what?
Johan is a dumbass.
Veronica says medicine, Dad. Agnes medicine. Johan says if you say so. Player says that must have been terrible for Agnes and Lucky.
Yeah.
Clara says Lucky and Agnes both took it badly. Agnes blamed herself. Kot says Lucky blamed the Baron.
I blame him too.
Eva says it's not hard to understand why. Beat was just a girl. The Baron took advantage of her. Player says that would explain why Lucky and Lawrence argued when Lawrence returned to Tassing. Otto says sure. I can see the wheels turning in your head, Andreas. You should leave well enough alone. Johan says agreed. I don't like where this conversation is going. Hetty says come on, Andreas, surely you've got better questions than that.
That was like one of the biggest
Option
questions I
1 of 2
had.
ABOU. Option 2 of 2. Option. Player says Clara mentioned the abbot has suddenly started raising taxes. Clara says raising them and changing their terms. Yes. When Father Matthias was the abbot, he would let us pay a portion of our taxes in crops.
That's nice.
Otto says naturally, the shit for brains abbot put an end to that this year.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Eva says even if our crops fail or produce less than we'd like, we still owe the abbey for the use of the land. It doesn't make any sense. How can he raise our taxes when the price for our grain does not rise, too? Where does he think the money comes from?
Amen, sister. That's the economy.
Otto says he doesn't think about the common folk at all. If it's not his abbey, it's not his problem. Option 1 of 2 WHAT about the miller? Doesn't he have some part to play in that? Option 2 of 2 BUT it isn't his problem. He's the abbot, not the mayor.
Okay, then like, I still have the question though, if it's like, why is it the abbey
Option 1 of 2 WHAT
raising taxes
Option 2 of
and
2
not the
BUT
mayor?
isn't his
Like,
problem.
why?
He's the abbot, not the mayor.
Where is the mayor? Does this town not have a mayor? Also,
Option 1
who's
of
the
2
mayor?
WHAT about the miller?
Who's the mayor?
Johan says Lenhart drives a hard bargain. He won't give us a better deal just because the abbot raises our taxes. What we need is access to more land. Trying to bargain with Lenhart won't get us that. Kot says Lenhart is not a kind man. And he does not negotiate. Clara says he might if you carry a lot of debt. But his bargains are cruel. Eva says we pay him even before the abbot, though I'm not sure why. Kot says good. Hetty says I have nothing Christian to say about Lenhart Muller, so I will say nothing at all.
Nice. Nothing Christian to say. That's a really good phrase to use.
Except that I hope he falls into a fast-moving river during a flood and dashes his brains on the rocks.
Wow.
Johan says Jesus Christ, Hetty.
Jesus Christ, Hetty.
Veronica
What's
says
wrong
can
with
we
you?
talk about something else? Hetty says I don't know about you girls, but I'm sick of this wool. I'm sure we've all got other chores to get to. Clara says I'm glad to have that over with. Now I don't have to think about wool for a whole year.
Nice, you only have to do this once a year? That's not too bad.
Kot says oh. I was having such a nice time.
I'm gonna get Jesus Christ Hetty tattooed. That's really funny. I'm gonna get have nothing Christian to say tattooed.
Eva says I certainly learned a lot. Otto says care for an escort home. Eva?
Oh man, Otto's gonna make his move.
Eva says I'd like that. Yes.
I ship him.
Hetty says hey
She kind of looks like Rapunzel a little bit. Just the blonde hair.
Johan says I expect everyone will be on their best behavior going home. Clara says
No,
they
we're gonna
always are.
fornicate on the streets, Johan.
Eva says Johan, please. Clara says Andreas, will I see you home for supper? Option 1 of 3 yes, I'll be there. Option 2 of 3 I have something to take care of before, but I'll try to make it. Option 1 of 3 THIS was very illuminating. Thank you all for letting me join you. Option 3 of 3 Hetty says thanks for coming by, Andreas. Come back anytime. Johan says unless you come on Abby business. Otto says don't threaten him with a good time, Johan. Johan.
Sex. It's time for sex.
Player says I should find someone to eat with. Hetty.
I don't really want to eat with her.
Hetty says hey, Andreas.
Oh.
Do you have dinner plans? You should join us for a meal. Option 2 of 2 maybe another. Option 1 of 2 ID like that. Lead the way.
Should I eat
Hetty.
with them? Is there someone better I should eat with? There was that person in the forest.
Option 2 of 2 maybe another. Hetty says if you say so.
Okay.
Johann Bauer House. Hetty. Hetty. Franz Bauer and Widow Kemperin.
Jesus Christ, Eddie. Wait, how do we get to the forest again? Go. Get.
France. France says hey Maler. You seen my son? Option 2 of 2.
I'm gonna get that tattooed actually.
Has something
You seen my
happened
son?
to him? Option 1 of 2 I saw him running from the Abbey Thursday morning, actually.
No, we should tell the
France
truth.
says that fucking rat. That layabout was asleep when I went into the fields. He told his mother he was sick. He say anything to you? Like where he was going?
No, he told us to get fucked. Literally.
Option 1
He told
of
us
2
to.
he told me to
Yeah,
eat shit.
he told us to eat
actually.
shit.
France says god damn it. How many time have I told him? Growling.
It said growling instead of grr.
Must be his mother's influence. He sure as shit didn't learn that behavior from me. If you see him again, will you tell Cot? She's driving me crazy about it. Option 1 of 2 ILL let Cot know if I run into. Option 2 of 2 what S got her worried. France says
He's not even a
everything in this
suspect,
world
so
that doesn't worry my wife. Martin's
that's
no exception. The boy's always running off. Always comes home, too. Doesn't stop her getting hysterical about it. Option 2 of 2 he as her son. Stands to reason she'd be concerned if he disappeared. France says yeah, well I didn't ask you, did I?
I don't know. I think he got a lot of his mannerisms from you, France.
Talk to Cot or don't. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Until later, Mailer. Option 1 of 2 UNTIL then. France says oh, forgot to ask. You hungry? Want to eat with the family?
No.
Option 1 of 2 ID. Option 2 of 2 perhaps another time. France says fine.
Okay. No, I need to go to the forest. I need to.
France Cot. France Bauer Church and Druckers Town Commons. Old Otto. Old Otto. Zimmerman House.
Oh man, there's so many
Church
places
and
to
Druckers.
explore. Now that
Old
it's
Otto.
daytime.
Zimmerman House. Johann Bauer Farm.
How do I get to the fucking forest?
Maps.
To forest. Okay. I just have to go to the right and then up and then. Okay.
Johann Bauer Farm. Zimmerman House. Old Church and Franz Bauer and Widow Kemp Church and Druckers.
Right?
Central Town. Drucker House. Franz Bauer Mill.
No, yes, I remember.
Meadow. Forest. Smokey's home.
Yeah, Smokey. I think that's the other thing.
Backslog. Forest. Smokey.
Oh, who are you?
Backslav says oh, hello. Player says hello. You're not a local, are you?
Oh my god, you can't just say that, Andreas.
Backslav says No. I'm staying in Tassing only briefly. Option 1 of 2. Is Smokey a friend of yours? Vaxlov says no. I mean, I didn't know him before coming to Tassing. But he's let me stay with him, so yes, I suppose he is. People don't much like Romani. Most folk despise anything that's different. I like staying on the edge of town. Option 1 of 2. I search to find whatever is different. It's the differences in an artist's style that makes their work unique. Vaxlov says ah, you're the artist staying up at Kiersau. Player says yes, just visiting Tassing for some time. My name is Andreas Maler. Vaxlov says, it's nice to meet you. Most folk in Tassing don't come down here to talk.
That's a shame. If I lived there, I would go to the forest all the time if it had this little encampment.
Right. I'm Vaxlov, a traveling tinker. I travel from place to place, sharpen knives, mend small things that need mending. That sort of thing. Option 1 of 3. WHAT brought you to Tassing, Vaxlov? Option 3 of 3. I am something of a craftsman myself. Vaxlov says I was brought up in it. Tinkering's in my blood. Tinkering, and wandering. I can always find a bit of work wherever I end up.
Oh, I like him.
Actually came to see Kiersau's library.
Oh, I like him.
I had hoped for one of the monks to read them to me, but the abbot
I'll
wouldn't
read
let
to
me
you. Oh, see, a fucking sure not is the worst man ever.
Option 2 of 2. Option 1 of 2 and 1.
Oh yeah, I guess that's also true.
Except the sisters. I'm not surprised they turned you away. Option 2 of 2. Father Gernot is a grumpy old man. I think he has half a mind to throw me out of the scriptorium, most days. Vaxlov says, he does seem like an angry man.
Wow.
He threatened to expel me from Tassing entirely. Player says what were you
He
looking
does
for?
seem like the type of person who would be racist.
Vaxlov says well, I explained I was looking for a text about the elements. If they're primordial, as Aristotle says, then God didn't create them. They exist with him, since the dawn of time. Option 2 of 3. But Genesis clearly says that the Lord created the heavens and the earth. Option 1 of 3. That's a fascinating idea. Vaxlov says not only that, but it explains the presence of the angels and demons before the creation of the world. Of the 5 elements, angels are fire and air, and demons water and earth. And the world was ether before the Lord formed it. That's why Satan appeared as a snake to eat. Snakes can only dwell in deep caves and pools.
I've literally never heard of this before. It's actually pretty fascinating.
Option 1 of 3. ID never considered it that way before. You might be onto something. Vaxlov says, I did not expect such open dialogue with you, Master Maler.
Yeah, well, I'm an open-minded guy.
Few men with your stature would entertain such ideas with someone like me.
Oh, that's sad.
Anyway. I should get back to work.
He's nice, I like
Player
him.
says until later. Vaxlov. Forest. Smokey. Smokey says oh. Master. Maler. Option 1 of 2. Why yes? Smokey says we met once before, I think. You were drawing something by the waterfall. I'm Smokey. Well, Adam. But people call me Smokey. Option 1 of 2. You read the charcoal burner. Smokey says yes. I have to stay out here in the forest, near the kill. Is there anything I can do for you? Option 2 of 2 and O. Option 1 of 2. WOULD. You mind if I joined you for a meal? Smokey says are you sure?
The fact that he's like just so disbelieving, it makes him so endearing.
Option 1 of 2. Why yes? Option 2 of Smokey says most decent folk don't like to associate with my kind. They like the charcoal but they hate the burner.
Oh, that's shitty.
Option 2 of 2. They re idiots. Let's eat.
Smoky Mountains. Well, he has like the reason why Andreas is the one. They're all like there's an investigation going on, but he has like even more motivation to try and find it out because like it's his friend and mentor who's being accused and detained of the murder, and like they will certainly kill him unless like there's more evidence to prove that he didn't do it and someone else did. So he's like basically trying to save his life.
Smokey says well, then. I suppose you're welcome.
Wait, what's Smokey from?
Oh,
that was the Wi-Fi, wasn't it? For the Tennessee Airbnb.
Vaxlov says I suppose. Smokey says all right. Good. Bless us, O Lord, and these, your gifts, which we are about to receive from your bounty. Through Christ, our Lord, Amen. Vaxlov says amen. Player says amen. Option 1 of 2 THANKU for the hospitality.
The food looks so good.
Option 2 of 2 if you don't.
No,
Option
thank
1
you for the
of Smokey
hospitality.
says of course. We're glad to have you. How else will Vaxlov get his town gossip? Vaxlov says stop. I don't. Smokey says all right. I was only kidding. Option 1 of 2 if gossip is what you crave, dear Vaxlov, I am more than happy to provide.
Hell yeah.
Vaxlov says I don't. Smokey is.
Don't you have some snacks, Kevin? I don't. Smokey is.
I like to talk to people about their beliefs, that's all. Not gossip. Smokey was making a stupid joke. Don't mind him. Smokey says don't sulk about it, then.
Oh, what do I eat? Mountain cheese, jerky, almonds. Mountain cheese.
In truth, I'm the gossip, Master Maler.
We
I can't
love
progress
gossip.
with proper people, but I'd like to know what's going on.
Jerky.
If you tell me some of your gossip, I'll tell you some of mine.
Yes.
Option 1 of 2 THAT sounds reasonable. Player says I've heard that Big Yurt, the gardener's boy, is up to mischief with one of the sisters at the Abbey.
Yeah.
Smokey says that doesn't surprise me. The good brothers and sisters may have the townsfolk fooled, but not old Smokey. They get up to all sorts of things in these woods.
They get to. Oh! Do they come to the woods to do some hinky pinky?
Option 1 of 2 OH.
Yeah.
Vaxlov says Smokey. Smokey says oh, please. No one around here cares if I live or die. They sure don't care about what I say to people.
Oh.
Vaxlov says TFT. Until they do.
PFT.
Fine, say what you want. Smokey says you know that monk and nun who do the shopping in town? Player says brother Wojslav and sister Matilda.
Oh,
Well,
I meant to
they
click
do
on
more
that.
than shop together. They
Wow.
meet in the woods, sometimes. Where no one can see. No one except old Smokey.
Do you just like watch them?
And do the things adults do, you understand?
No.
Vaxlov says Smokey. Smokey says what? It's true. Option 1 of 2 THE Abbott would be furious if he knew. I assume Mother Cecilia would be as well.
You'd be furious if you knew.
Option 2 of 2 GOOD for them. If they're happy, what's the harm? Option 1 of 2. Smokey says well, then don't tell them. It's not like any of those folks are going to come down here to talk to me. Vaxlov says Sister Gertrude talks to you.
Oh, she looks so cute. She's the one who looks like a dumpling.
Smokey says well, yes, but other than her. You heard anything else lately?
Oh, so much.
Player says nothing else comes to mind.
What?
Vaxlov says good. Gossip makes trouble and it can get people hurt.
Vaxlov is so pure.
Smokey says when do you become such an old woman, Vaxlov? You're no fun at all. No one's getting hurt. We're just telling stories. Option 1 of 2 ALL right then. What have you heard? Smokey says Vaxlov knows something about the prior. Don't you? Vaxlov says why are you dragging me into this?
Tell me.
Smokey says look, either you tell the story or I'll tell my version of it.
Just tell me.
Vaxlov says stupid. A few weeks back, I saw that man, the Hungarian, in the woods. He was doing some kind of ritual with blood.
I knew it. He's an occultist.
Option 1 of 3 that's not a good sign. The use of blood is often associated with black magic. Smokey says black magic? Well, I don't care what color it is. It sounds bad to me. Player says whose blood was it? Vaxlov says his. He cut his hand in the middle of the ritual and dripped the blood into a cup, I think. He kept repeating some phrase over and over. Sex looks 10 every or something.
Sex looks 10 every.
Smokey says scared you, didn't it, Vaxlov? Vaxlov says well. I don't mind if people have strange beliefs. Let people do what they want.
Exactly.
I just don't like blood.
Oh.
What's inside the body should stay inside.
Okay. Do you believe that you shouldn't pee?
Option 1 of 3 COULDB witchcraft. Option
Some
3 of 3 SOME invocations require a blood sacrifice so the spirit has something material to work through. Smokey says work through? Player says yes, to do the bidding of the practitioner. Vaxlov says that sounds bad. Smokey says you heard anything else lately? Player says no, nothing. Smokey says no matter. There's plenty more to tell.
Oh yeah, give it to
Well,
me.
the whole town's built on Roman ruins, right? Pieces of an old town sit underneath the abbey, too. Hundreds of years ago the Romans built all sorts of things up here. Then one day they just vanished.
What? The things vanished or the Romans vanished?
We built on their old bones. You still have to be careful where you step in this forest. You're liable to fall into an old ruin. Or get scared halfway to the grave by a ghost.
Oh man, I hope so. I want to see a
Backslav
ghost.
says it's true. Smokey saw a ghost.
You saw a ghost?
Option 1 of 2, you re-kidding me. Option 2 of 2, OH. I love ghost story. Backslav says as do I, but this is no story. Smokey says it was late in the evening. The moon was high, painting the leaves all soft and silver. I heard a rustling in the meadow, like wind through the grass. Like whispers. I looked up. Backslav says this is my favorite part. Option 1 of 2 THIS is good. Smokey says and there he was. Standing in the meadow like he's carved out of moonlight, bent near in half.
Wow, that's a beautiful description. It's almost romantic.
He looks at me and it's like I've been speared straight through to my soul. Just these two eyes like dark pools, pouring right into me.
Nothing confirmed supernatural yet, but they have like hints of it. Like we might have seen a ghost earlier in the game, but it could have easily been someone else. And like there's a nun at the Abbey who's supposed to receive like visions from God and stuff. So it's like ambiguous at this point. Right now it's just stories, like nothing we've confirmed.
And his edges, the borders of him, they shimmer. So hard it hurts to look straight at him. I can't help it, I blink. Like God himself closed my eyes. This chill wind blows through me, the very breath of winter, and when I look back, he's gone. Backslav says I love that story. Option 1 of 3 a good story, well told. Option 2 of 3 HUH. Maybe you really did see a ghost. Option 3 of 3. So a weird guy looked at you? Is that the whole story?
No.
Option 2 of 3 HUH. Maybe you really did see a ghost. Option 1 of Smokey says thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I think others have seen what I've seen. Must be a lot of godless Romans under this dirt.
This may be a dumb question, but were the Romans like pagan? Yeah, that's so stupid. They had the Roman gods. Oh my god. Pretend I didn't say that.
Anyway, these ruins are haunted. Backslav says hey, Smokey, I have to get back to sharpening knives for the Albans. Smokey says alright, alright. Enough talking. Smokey says good to see you Master Maler. Drop by again sometime.
No, please no. I'll do anything.
Option 1 of 2 THANK you for having me, Smokey. Smokey says until next time. Forest. Player says time to get back to work. Church and Druckers.
Okay, we have to go back to the Abbey. Meadow.
Mill. Till. Forest. Till. Till says hello, Master Maler. Till. Forest. Lower Abbey. Upper Abbey. Church. Cloister. Cloister. Chapter Monast. Folkbert. Folkbert. Folkbert says good day, Andreas. Large garden. Courtyard and lavatory. Refectory. Church. Dormitory. Kitchen and cemetery. Dormitory. Kitchen and cemetery. Old Bailey.
Okay. There we are.
Torium.
Wait. Oh, there's someone right there. Who is
Cemetery.
that? Oh, it's Guy.
Guy says good day, Andreas. Scriptorium. Ferenc says Andreas. What an awful time. Awful time. A Baron, murdered at Kiersau. These are dark days indeed. Brother Pierrot. I admit, I would have never thought him the type. What could have possessed him?
It wasn't him.
Option 2 of 2 PIRO is a half step from the grave. You really think he could have killed a man in his prime? Ferenc says school your tongue, Andreas. A murderer he may be, but the man is still your brother in Christ.
What? I'm saying he couldn't have done it.
Envy and pride inspire men to madness, Andreas. Even old men. But But you have come to me for a reason.
What?
Do you need something? Option 4 of 4 NOT now. Thank you. Option 1 of 4 I came across an interesting letter from you addressed to the late Baron Rothbogel.
Oh my god, all of these are so...
Option 1 of 4 I came across an interesting letter from you addressed to the
confrontational,
late
and
Baron.
in front
Option
of
3 of 4
a monk too.
Option 1 of 4 I came across an interesting letter from you addressed to the late Baron. Ferenc says what? Where did you get that? Option 3 of 3. Option 1 of 3 Why you shouldn't leave this type of thing lying around. An unscrupulous person might use it for devious ends.
Are we blackmailing him?
Player says because this doesn't look good. Ferenc says it's not as it looks. He meant to coerce me into performing a ritual to help him with a condition. But I refused, as the letter makes abundantly clear. Option 3 of 3 AH, the French disease. Option 2 of 3 THE line between one who knows such rituals and one who practices them is thin as a spider's thread, prior. Option 3 of 3 AH, the French disease.
Let's all say that, because
Option
then that would
2 of 3
expose
THE
us as
line
having
between
been
one who
present
knows
for
such
the
rituals and one who
autopsy.
practices them is thin as a player says some would say it is only a matter of time before the temptation became too much. Ferenc says do not question my devotion to the Lord, Master Maler. I am the prior of the Kiersau Scriptorium, one of the few of its kind left in Christendom. Modest though the abbey may be, our library contains works on subjects rarely found beyond its walls, certainly not all in the same place. For men of certain academic interests, it is perhaps the only place we may meet and discuss them. Option 2 of 2 YET he threatened to expose you to church inquisitors. Option 1 of 2 IVE always thought it's a perfectly reasonable area of study, so long as you avoid certain subjects. Player says it's a rich area for scholarly insight. Ferenc says the Baron's interest was more than academic. When he wished to make it practical, I refused. There is nothing more to it. Player says I see.
I don't believe it.
Ferenc
He has
says
that
now,
little
is that
wheel
all?
thing.
I have duties I really should
No,
attend
it's not
to.
all.
Option 1 of 2 I had a few more questions, if you don't mind. Ferenc says be quick about it. Option 1 of 3 While you rushed into the scriptorium and hid something strange at your desk. Ferenc says pardon? And why were you sneaking about the scriptorium?
I work here, my guy.
Option 1 of 3 WHAT was it? Some kind of disc? Option 3 of 3 I wasn't sneaking. I dropped a bottle of paint on the floor and was cleaning it up.
What was so important you had to be late for tears?
Option 3 of 3 Option 2 of 2 I get more. Option 1 of 2 I could have left it there if you'd preferred. The floor is rather drab in the scriptorium. Option 2 of Ferenc says let us seek a common understanding, Master Maler, as two brothers in Christ. Option 2 of 2 say nothing. Option 1 of 2 please, let's. I love to understand things.
We love understanding
Ferenc
things.
says growling. The scriptorium is my domain, and you are a guest here.
Get over yourself.
And so long as that is true, I do not answer to you, but the abbot only.
I mean, you answer to the letter we found, and the wheel that we found,
Is that clear?
and the rumor that we just heard.
Option 2 of 2 if you don't mind me asking, why aren't you the abbot? Option 2 of 2 Option 1 of 2 it s an elected position. Option 2 of 2 are you not better suited to the job, given your age and experience? Ferenc says that's not. I will not discuss this with you. Are we done here?
Nope.
Option 2 of 2 FOR now.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Option 1 of 2 I had a
But
few
the
more
actual
questions,
abbot is even
if you
worse.
don't mind. Ferenc says fine. Option 1 of 2 IVE heard it said you perform blood rituals in the woods. Ferenc says who would slander me with such a claim?
Oh, we're not gonna rat on Smokey.
Option 1 of 2 I heard it from the Tinker, Vaxslav. Option 2 of 2 WHAT.
The question is, are you a
The
witch?
question is, Ferenc says keep your voice down. They were merely angelic invocations, entirely Christian and benign.
What Christian thing requires a blood sacrifice?
Option 2 of 2 whisper. Option 1 of 2
Why are
shout.
you whispering?
Then option 2 of 2 whisper. Then why are you whispering? Ferenc says I remember too well what transpired in Innsbruck.
Here.
And because I know the minds of men, even godly men, are now and again poisoned by fear and small thinking.
True.
And what were you doing in the forest, Andreas, that you would see me?
None of your business.
Option 1 of 2 lie picking mushrooms for Clara Gertnerin, naturally.
Yeah, I guess.
Player says they're at their most plump and juicy in the evening hours, when all the ground is moist with dew. Ferenc says when you describe them like that, it sounds most ungodly.
It really does. I was about to say that I don't like that you use the word moist, and I don't like that I think you said juicy or something.
You have gotten your answer. Are you satisfied? Option 1 of 2 and 0. You still haven't explained the point of your angelic invocations.
Yeah.
Player says that is, unless you really were doing witchcraft. Of which I approve, to be clear. Ferenc says I was merely attempting to invoke the angel's aid to help with the Abbey's financial troubles. Option 3 of 3. I hope you have a better answer than that when church inquisitors come knocking. Option 1 of 3. I read about court magicians in Hungary who do the same for their rulers.
Oh, they do? That's kind of cool. I didn't know about that. They're court magicians?
Ferenc says such interests are not uncommon in Hungary. You know that's where I'm from. Option 2 of 2. They have a more reasonable attitude toward the occult arts there, I'm told. Ferenc says yes. Well, we're not in Hungary, are we? I should have known you were a fellow practitioner, given the books you wheedle out of the sisters. I'd had you figured for a dilettante. Option 2 of 2. Were your invocations effective, prior?
Yeah, let's get back to the point at hand.
Ferenc says, the Lord and his angels do not work on a mortal timescale. Now please, Andreas, you've drawn the truth from me. I trust we can keep this between us, considering our mutual interest. Player says as you wish. Be well, prior Ferenc. Option 2 of 2. Nod solemn. Option 1 of 2. Wink. And stay out of the forest.
Yeah, let's
Ferenc says be well, Master Maler.
Nice.
Ferenc, Edoc. Ferenc. Edoc.
Okay.
Old Bailey.
Okay, wait, what do we have to do now?
Journal.
So we're not done with it yet. Oh. Oh, we should see if she's there now. Hold on, let me see. So. Okay.
Old Bailey.
Let's go to the Prior's
Cemetery.
Ferenc's house.
Prior's
Yeah.
house.
And then also to check on Cecilia. Yes. There it is.
Player says what is this? A Volvel? I've seen these before, in astronomy and medical track. Two
we've
wheels.
read this.
The top wheel has Greek letters and holes cut out, and the outer edge of the lower wheel is divided
I
into
still
four
don't know how to
sections,
solve this
each
though.
bearing an Greek, Latin, and elemental symbols. It's obvious someone with occult interests fashioned this. A quarter turn of the upper disc aligns a different elemental symbol with the top of the lower disc.
Wait. Yes it is. Kevin, it's on there. And you should watch everything that's on there right now. Anyway, the elements. They were saying water. No. Fire and air are angels, and water and earth are the demons.
And that reveals a different set of letters underneath. This must relate to the Greek letters I found in Ferenc's book. I need to compare them, but these symbols aren't the same.
That's like the astrological symbols.
The elements don't appear in the cipher, and the astrological symbols aren't on the Volvel.
Yeah.
There has to be some connection between them that I'm missing. Option 1 of 2. I found the secret passage in the crypt. There has to be a book in the library I could use to. Player says Sister Illuminata is in there most of the day.
Okay, so let's go
and
there
if all else
tonight.
fails, perhaps I could ask Werner Stalls.
He lives
off of the north. I have a sense he doesn't like me much. I'll find a way to get the information out of him.
Yeah. Okay, let's
Old
go
Bailey.
to Cecilia.
Yeah. Cecilia says God bless you, Andreas. Player says God bless you, Mother Cecilia. Cecilia says is there something I can help you with? Option 1 of 2. I noticed that you took the sisters inside when I walked up with the Baron. Cecilia says what concern of it is yours?
It's
Option 1 of 3. GIV and that the Baron was just murdered. It seems worth inquiring about the cause. Cecilia says why? Do you not trust in the abbot's judgment?
I trust your judgment more. You were acting more rationally.
Option 1 of 3. It's not that. I just want to understand what's happened. Option 2 of 3. And oh, of course I don't. Brother Pierrot? He wouldn't. Option 1 of 3. It's not that. I just want to understand what's happened. Cecilia says as do I. I share concerns over the abbot's assumptions about Brother Pierrot's guilt.
Oh my god.
You must be careful about how you proceed.
Yeah.
The abbot does not want anything to interfere with the archdeacon's investigation. That includes you.
Well, he can fucking deal with it.
Option 1 of 2. THE and help me.
How do you feel about
Option 2
interfering
of 2.
with it?
HOW do you feel about interfering with it? Option 1 of 2. Cecilia says help you what? Blame someone else for the
Find
murder?
the truth. Oh my god.
Option 3 of 3. HELP me find justice. Option 2 of 3. While you know that Pierrot didn't. Cecilia says what does justice look like? Andreas. Option 2 of
Like
2.
the
While you know
truth.
that justice does not look like Pierrot dying for this murder.
Exactly.
Cecilia says someone will die for this murder, Andreas. If it is not Brother Pierrot, it will be someone else.
Yeah, it should be the person who actually
The
did the
killing of a
murdering.
powerful noble cannot go unpunished, especially while he was under the protection of
So
the
like you'd
abbot.
rather have a man that you're convinced is innocent.
Player says then help me find who did it before the archdeacon arrives. Cecilia says I am simply a nun.
You know
Why do you
information.
think I can help you? Option 2 of 2. I saw how you reacted when the Baron arrived. You must know something about what's going on. Cecilia says all right. I did have reason to be concerned about Baron Rothvogel's presence.
Yes.
The Baron caused irreparable harm to one of the sisters on his last visit.
What the fuck? So he like that. So he impregnated someone, and that person killed herself. And then, what did he do to
The
this
damage was
sister?
severe enough that she had to leave us for some time.
Was it the same person?
Option 1 of 2. Say nothing. Option 2 of 2. Double. Cecilia says irreparable. That is why I removed the sisters from his presence as soon as I could.
Was it the same person?
Option 1 of 2. WHICH sister. Can I speak with her?
Are there any who may have wanted revenge?
Cecilia says I know. Andreas. I don't think that would
Well, I
be
didn't think
appropriate.
she'd say yes, but
Option 1 of 2. ALL right. This doesn't help me much if I don't know what happened or to whom. Cecilia says I understand this is less information than you likely wanted, but I do not think I can tell you any more, and trust me when I say that the victim of this incident could not have killed the Baron.
But what if it was someone who knew them?
Player says I need more than that. Are there any records on her? On what happened? Cecilia says yes, we keep records on all the sisters in the library. Not that it does you any good. You're not allowed. Option 1 of 2. THIS again? Option 1 of 2. THIS again?
Oh, we can go there at night and then look for the record too.
Option 2 of 2. Could I ask Sister Illuminata to see them? Cecilia says she won't give them to you. Our records aren't
Okay,
available for
we'll just
outsiders
sneak in
to look
later.
through.
No big deal.
Option 1 of 2. I can sneak in on my own.
No,
You know.
don't tell.
I found the
No!
secret entrance in
We
the
don't
crypt.
want her to know. Why are these only two options? We're not gonna rat her out.
Option 1 of 2. I can
Oh,
sneak in on my
fuck.
own. You know. I found the secret
I
entrance
wanna
in the crypt.
explore it.
Cecilia says. Don't try it. You will be caught, and you'd be lucky if the abbot only banished you from the abbey until Judgment Day. Option
try
1
it.
of 2 millimeters. Option 2 of 2
You're
AH.
probably right.
Cecilia says may God bless you, Andreas Maler.
Okay.
Convent Garden.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah, we need to go to the library tonight. It would be interesting if it was the same person that we just gossiped about.
Prioress House. Prioress House. Convent Loquarium. Prioress Upper Abbey.
Okay,
Prioress
wait,
House.
what else can I do right now?
Journal.
What? Oh yeah, Otilia and Lucky. Okay, Otilia and Lucky. Yes,
Upper Abbey.
we still need to talk to. So let's go there. Yeah.
France. Cot.
Oh.
Brigida. Cot. Cot says hello, Master Maler. I'm sorry to cause you trouble, but have you seen Martin recently? He wasn't feeling well, so I let him sleep until prime, but when I came to check on him, he was gone. Option 1 of 2. I saw him Thursday morning. Player says he ran through the meadow while I was on my way to the abbey at prime. Cot says but, he said he was sick. And what was he doing in the meadow? He hardly ever goes out there. It always makes him
Who's up to
sneeze.
no good?
Option 1 of 2. He seemed to be running from the abbey. Player says why do you ask? Cod says he has a history of making poor decisions.
You don't say.
Player says like stealing. Baron Rothvogel
Telling me to eat
believes
shit?
Martin may have stolen some of the Lord's rings. Cod says Lord have mercy. That must be where he's gone. To sell them. Oh, Martin, how could you? Option 2 of 2. Is it possible he could have? Option 1 of 2. Do you know where he's likely to have gone? Cod says the last time he ran off, it was to Innsbruck. But I don't know. I don't know. He could be anywhere. What if he is attacked on the road? Option 1 of 2. I am sure he'll be alright, Cot. Cot says I pray to God that you are right. I'm sorry. This is not your trouble. Thank you for speaking to me. Option 1 of 3 WAS. There's something else? Cod says I don't want to impose. But if
What?
it wouldn't be too much trouble, please
Oh,
let me know
yeah,
if you see
of
Martin.
course.
I'm so worried for him.
Oh.
Option 1 of 2 of course. Cod. Cod says thank you, Master Maler. Be well. Brigida. Brigida says I would wish you a good day, Andreas, but I fear that would be a lie. Option 2 of 2 HAS. Something happened? Option 1 of 2 THE. Baron Rothvogel was murdered at the Abbey. Have you heard? Brigida says heaven above. By who? Surely not one of the brothers. Option 2 of 2. I am not sure yet, but I intend to find out. Brigida says, oh, Lord. Martin, you couldn't have.
Was it Martin?
Option 2 of 2 Do you think Martin could have killed the Baron? Option 1 of 2. I saw him fleeing the Abbey Thursday morning, right after Baron Rothvogel was murdered. Brigida says no. Don't say such a thing. He would never hurt someone. I can't imagine it.
Then why did you say that
2
little
of 2
aside?
You must admit, it looks suspicious. Option 2 of 2 You. Brigida says it does, I know, but he has made many mistakes, but he's never hurt anyone. Not me, not his mother, not the animals. Even if many in town don't speak highly of him, I know in my heart he is a good man.
Oh, wow. It's kind of nice that she, like, thinks he's a good man. So maybe he is not... Yeah, I didn't... Like, I know he's, like, a piece of shit, but I don't think he's, like, evil.
Please believe me.
I do.
Option 2 of 2 frowns. Option 1 of 2 I just want to understand who might be responsible for the Baron's murder. Option 1 of 2 A&D Martin seems the most likely suspect at the option
I don't
2
think
of
it's
2
Martin.
A&D. Brigida says I understand. Thank you for hearing me out. I should probably get back to my chores. France will be angry if he sees me shirking, or talking to an unmarried man. Option 2 of 2 UNTIL late. Option 1 of 2 of course. God willing, Martin will come home soon. Brigida says he will. I must trust in Providence. Be well, Andreas. Player says be well, Brigida. Adelai's home. Adelia says well, if it isn't the late Baron's new best friend.
I'm not his best friend. I did not even... Well, I liked him in the beginning, and then he showed himself to be not a very nice person.
Option 1 of 2 NICE to see you, 2, Adelia. Option 2 of 2 afternoon. I'm option 1 of 2 Adelia says pa. Sarcasm, how original. What do you want?
What do you want me to say?
You must be bothering me for something. Option 1 of 2 I wanted to ask you some questions about Lawrence Rothvogel's murder. Adelia says not the first time Perchta answered my call.
Perchta. Oh, yeah. Oh, so you prayed for him to die?
You want to know what I think? I'm glad he's dead. I hope whoever killed him gets the abbot next. Maybe burns that entire abbey to the ground.
Hey, I can respect that.
And that's all I have to say about it. Option 1 of 3 WHAT did the Baron do to earn your ire? Option 3 of 3 THE life of an innocent man is at stake, one of the elderly brothers.
I don't think she cares.
Option 2 of 3 HAS the abbot crossed you somehow? Option 1 of 3 WHAT did the Baron do to earn your ire? Adelia says what did I just tell you, boy? I don't have anything. Player says the life of an innocent man is at stake.
Oh,
one
good.
Of the
I'm glad
elderly
we say
brothers.
that anyway.
Can't you spare me a few minutes? Adelia says you think I care about
Yeah,
what
I knew
happened
she
to
wouldn't
some
care.
old monk? Ha. Idiot. Kill them all. See if I care. Every agent of the church should die.
Damn, what did it do to you?
Option 2 of 2 Why you shouldn't talk about the church like that. Option 1 of 2 WHERE is this anger coming from? Is it something I can help with?
Yeah.
Adelia
what
says no.
happened?
Well, maybe. Don't suppose those skinny arms of yours can hold more than a paintbrush? Option 1 of 2 I am not so strong as Otto, but I can lift things and reach high places, if that's what you need. Adelia says not often someone offers to help out old Adelia.
Oh,
Fine. You do some things for me, maybe it'll jog my memory.
hell
But
yeah.
it's going to take a while. Lots of things been building up, things I'm too old to do. You got some place to be?
Not until nighttime.
Option 1 of 2 I have no other plans. I'm all yours for the afternoon.
Yeah.
Autolias says follow me, then. Autolias has been meaning to collect some firewood, but I haven't been able to muster the energy. Option 1 of 2 let us gather you some sticks. Option 2 of 2 do you often have a difficult time gathering wood? Autolias says I'm an old woman. Everything's difficult.
Oh.
And no one's around to help me, not since my husband died. Now stop yammering and get to work. This light won't last forever. Autolia. Autolia.
Sunny over here. Yes. Oops.
Autolia. Autolia says there are the trees Otto's been felling for the abbot. Break off that branch there, the big one. Option 1 of 3. If you insist. Player says I know Autolia feels she's been wronged by the abbey, but the wood does still belong to the abbot. Option 2 of 2 if the abbot finds out I helped Autolia steal from him, he could make finishing my masterpiece. Option 1 of 2 if we're caught stealing it, my investigation into Lawrence's murder could be in jeopardy.
Yeah, that's what matters most right now.
Player says but if I refuse to help Autolia, she might not tell me what happened between her and Lawrence to make her hate him so.
Oh my god.
The way she yelled at him the day he arrived, it must have been serious. But serious enough to kill him?
I don't think she could have killed him either.
Perhaps I can make her see reason.
She's old too.
Option 1 of 3. Option 2 of 3 that's technically poaching, Autolia. Option 3 of 3 THESE trees belong to the abbot. I can't risk being caught stealing from him. Autolia says this is our forest. The people of Tassing were here before the abbey was. This forest is ours.
It's a good point.
Just because some piece of paper somewhere says this land belongs to the church, we can't use it. The people who care for it.
Good point.
Fuck the church. Fuck the abbey. This land is ours, and damn them all to hell. Player says I'm not about to get in trouble with the abbot just so you can have.
I want to reason with you. No.
Option 2 of 2 he allows me to use the scriptorium to work on my master. Option 1 of 2 I need his cooperation to find out who killed Baron Rothvogel. Autolia says Pa. You don't need to remind me that you care more the church than you've ever spared.
I just care about Piero.
But we're not yet through with our chores, so I'll say no more.
Oh. Okay. That one's done.
I can't use all these sticks, they're too big. You need to break them down for me. Option 1 of 2 FO are a common lady, you certainly have the mien of a noble. Option 2 of 2 SURE, break the stick. Autolia says I need the right side, at a certain length, so break them and forget the leftover scrap. Option 1 of 2 WHERE should I break them? Option 1 of 2 WHERE should. Autolia says I'll know it when I see it. Now get snapping, boy.
Okay.
It's too short. Maybe I should get a real man to help me.
Wait, what side did she say again that she needed shorter or longer? Right side?
It's too short.
Oh
Maybe
my god.
I should get a real man to help me.
What? What the hell?
This one is too small and frail. Just like you, Maler.
How about that?
It's too short.
What?
Maybe I should get a real
I
man to
forgot
help me.
which side I'm supposed to do.
It's too short.
Oh my god.
Maybe I should get a real man to help
maybe
me.
like this.
This one is too big. I don't need a club, you buffoon. I suppose that one is fine.
So like perfectly in half? You could have just said that.
More than that, Andreas Maler. Bigger. It's too short. Maybe I should
Fucking
get a real
God.
man to help me. Ha. None of these are the right size. Now come help me back at the house. Option 1 of 3 of course. Lead on. Option 2 of 3 are you sure this will be enough?
I don't want
Player
her to
says perhaps we
freeze.
should get more. Autoly says it will have to be, won't it? Unless you mean to come around again. I'm an old woman living alone, and summer is coming. Soon I'll only need fuel for cooking. Don't worry yourself, boy. I'll be fine. Option 1 of 2 if you say so. But I worry about you living alone. Franz Bauer and Widow Kemperin. Autolia. Autolia says I have some mementos from Rannick here. They've gone crooked, and I can't reach. Could you hang them for me, Andreas?
Aw.
Option 1 of 2 EASY enough. Autolia says and please, be careful with my pictures. Some are very fragile. I would hate to lose them to your carelessness.
Rude. Oh, easy. Easy. Ugh.
Autolia says think you could hang those papers on the table? I can't reach.
Yeah.
There you go. That looks all right. Thank you for hanging those. Just one thing, remove the cross. Option 1 of 2. Are you sure about that? Autolia says don't you gainsay me, boy. Option
Okay.
1 of 3 ALL right. I guess, if you're sure. Player says what Autolia is asking of me is sacrilegious.
Who cares? It's her house.
Option 1 of 2 SHE could be forced to face a church inquisitor if someone found. Option 2 of 2 it as a worn old cross, and it graced the home she shared with her husband. If I destroy it, she might regret it later.
Oh.
Option 1 of 2
I
SH
don't know.
Player says and whatever she says, I don't believe it's the cross that's her problem. There is something more there I've yet to uncover. Taking the cross down might only cause her more pain in the long run. But if I anger her, I might miss out on information about. Perhaps I could convince her to put it somewhere out of sight, so it won't torment her. That might be enough. Option 2 of 3 WHAT do you plan to do with the cross? Autolia says destroy it, of course. The church never did anything for me and took nearly all I had. Why should I be made to venerate it? Player says what did the church take from you? Autolia says what does it matter to you? Just take the thing down like I asked.
Help.
Option 1 of 3 ALL right. Option 2 of 3 perhaps I could just move the cross to where you can't see it.
Yeah, if she's gonna get in trouble. I see his sentiment in offering this.
Player says I understand that you are angry and hurting now, but you might regret destroying it later.
Yeah.
It's such a nice cross. Made from nice wood.
Fuck! I failed that too,
Autolia
Jesus.
says I don't give a shit what it's made from.
Ugh.
Ha. If you won't remove the cross, then you're useless to me.
I would have taken it down.
Autolia. Autolia says I've got one last thing for you to do. A legal document. I need you to read it. The words are too small for my old eyes. Option 2 of 2 ALL right. But option 1 of 2 I am not an expert in Bavarian law, but I'll do my best.
Yeah.
Autolia says good enough for me.
What?
Player says let me see here. It says. Oh. Due to the recent death of Rannick Kemper, his lack of heirs to inherit, your inability to pay fees on the land.
Oh no.
Your property is forfeit to the church.
Oh no.
Option 1 of 2 I am sorry. Option 2 of 2 say nothing. Autolia says AI. That devil. That monster. This is all the fault of Lorenz Rothvogel.
Uh-huh.
If he were alive, I'd kill him myself. May he boil in hell for all eternity.
Yeah, keep talking.
Option 1 of 2 you are hatred of the church. Did you know this would happen? Autolia says Pa. You think I'm stupid? It was inevitable. Player says I think it's time you tell me what happened with the Baron. Autolia says Rennig, my husband, he caught that Rothvogel devil riding through our property and told him, rightly, to leave. The Baron beat my Rennig for it, beat him so savagely that he took a cane to walk. Even his breathing pained
Oh, I
him.
remember reading that.
Never could breathe deep so long as he lived, which wasn't long at all. Option 1 of 2 God. God.
You didn't know Lorenz, and the Lorenz you did know berated Piero, so it does sound like the kind of the Lorenz that you knew.
Adelai says that Baron was the worst kind of man, careless and cruel. He knew he could beat my Rannick and suffer no consequences, so he did. We were not even so low as animals to him. We were furniture. And I knew after Rannick died the church would try to take what little I had left. This document only confirms it. All because of Lorenz Rothvogel. Option 1 of 2 you know, that's a pretty compelling reason for you to have killed him. Option 2 of
Don't
2
say
say
that.
nothing. Adelai says since Rannick left, I'm just waiting to die. Why should I have to go on living when he is gone?
Oh, that is so
He
sad.
has not even been dead a year. I hoped I would follow him before the church came for what was left of our life. Option 1 of 2 inheritance laws are cruel to the widowed and the childless. Adelai says just as the church likes it. It doesn't matter, boy. The laws will never change, and nobody cares. Player says you know, that's a pretty compelling reason for you to have killed him. You said yourself you'd do it if you could. Who's to say you haven't already? Adelai says finally, some honesty from you. This was the real purpose of your visit all along. I'm an old woman, Andreas.
That's what I
Even
said.
walking from my bed to the door pains me.
She
How
can't
could I
even
kill a
frig
man in his
sticks.
prime?
Like, how would she be able to stab someone? Or, like, literally, like, kill, or, like, crush his head with one blow.
Not that it matters. I'm sure I'll take the blame for it anyway, just like I'm blamed for every runny nose and thrown horseshoe around here. The people in town can't wait for me to die, and the Abbey vultures hate me for my contempt of them. None of it matters. I don't care what happens to me anymore. Thank you for your help, boy. You're the only one who's come calling since my Rannick passed.
That's so
Do
sad.
you know? Now get out. I need to lie down. Option 1 of 2 of course. I was glad to help. Adelai is home. Player says I should find someone to eat with.
Yeah, and then we can go to the library. Is there someone I should be talking to? I want to talk to Lucky. So, where do we find him again?
Lucky. Lucky says Andreas. Player says good day, Lucky. Do you have a moment to talk? Lucky says make it quick. Option 1 of 3 I was wondering if I might break bread with you and Agnes. We've never shared a meal. Option 2 of 3 I know what happened to your daughter, to beat.
Should we share a meal with him? Will that make him more willing
Lucky
to
says
talk?
I don't see why not. Is now good? Option 1 of 2 THAT would be great. Option 1 Lucky says let's not keep her waiting, then. Lucky says bless us, O Lord, and these, your gifts, which we are about to receive from your bounty. And we pray you keep safe the souls of the 2 innocents who rest at your side. They are dearly missed. Through Christ, our Lord, Amen. Agnes says Amen. Player says Amen. Lucky says you are looking tired, Agnes. Did else keep you up late?
Wow, this looks good too.
Agnes says I don't mind it. She needs the support, and I'm happy to give it. Someone has to look after the women of this town, and Werner hardly cares to.
Yeah, that fucking guy.
Option 1 of 2 ISL's the Miller's wife? Agnes says married to Lenhard Muller, yes. I'm surprised you haven't met her yet.
I forgot what he looks like. Oh yeah.
Option 1 of 2 DID something happened to her? Agnes says she lost a child a few weeks back.
Oh man.
She was overjoyed when she finally quickened, but her bleeding returned soon after. It has been difficult for her. But she has been through it before. She will make it through again.
Damn, that sucks. Wow, that looks amazing.
Lucky says she is strong in her love of Christ and in love of her husband. Agnes says she does dote on him, though Lenhard hardly deserves it. Option 1 of 2 IVE heard he is a cruel man who drives a hard bargain with the peasants. Lucky says I did not take you for a gossip, Andreas. Option 1 of 2 I am curious about the town. Is that so wrong? Agnes says don't listen to my husband. He is far too upright and noble for his own good. Lucky says spreading rumors is not Christian behavior. Agnes says Lenhard is cruel, to his wife and the peasants both. There's no denying that. Take it as a caution, Andreas. Don't get on the Miller's bad side.
Mm.
Option 1 of 2 his unkindness is doubtless what's caused her bleeding. Player says Elsa's imagination must be protected against troubling experiences. A mother's spiritual well-being is just as important as physical health. Agnes says I have tried to tell Lenhart the same, but I am just a village midwife. I'm afraid my opinion is not worth much to a man like him. Don't trouble yourself, Andreas. She has her son, Paul, for comfort. He is a sweet boy, and he adores his mother. If he is all the Lord grants her, she will still be blessed. The best thing we can do for Else is care for her as neighbors, like Christ tells us to. She isn't the only one in Tassing who struggles in her marriage. Even my Brigida has her troubles.
Yeah, I think
Player
everyone
says
knows
Claire
that.
mentioned Brigida and Martin were having difficulties. Lucky says we should never have agreed to their marriage. She deserves better than Martin Bauer. Agnes says she loves him, Lucky, and she had to marry sometime. What could we do? Lucky says found a man who isn't such a useless shit.
Oh, jeez.
At least we got Wolf out of it. I'll make sure he grows up solid. He'll become a great stonemason. Agnes says just like his grandpa. Now, why don't you tell Andreas about your work at the Abbey? You said you found something strange in the building?
Oh.
Player says strange how? Lucky says that. I was repairing a cracked wall down in the crypt. The Abbey used to be a Roman fort, right, so it's no spring hen.
Yeah, they were talking about the foundation. I think like Father Thomas didn't really want to fix it.
I bumped into a relief of the Virgin and a door slid open. Was the damnedest thing.
Oh, yeah. We knew
Option
about
1
that.
of 3 I discovered the same thing. A fascinating architectural detail, to be sure. Lucky says that old Abbey's full of secrets, make no mistake. Anyway, stuck my head up through the trapdoor and one of the nuns screamed. Agnes says you didn't tell me that part. Lucky says I felt bad for scaring them. Option 2 of 2 HAH. I doubt sisters even. Option 1 of 2 YO you must have frightened Sister Illuminata half to death. Lucky says I probably should have knocked first. Never know what you'll find behind a closed door. Speaking of work, I should get back to it. Still lots to fix after that storm. Agnes says it was lovely having you, Andreas. Player says take care Agnes, Lucky. Thank you for your hospitality.
Hope this will be remembered in
Lucky
a good
says
way.
see you around the Abbey, I expect. Lucky.
Okay, we really have to go.
Agnes. Player says I should get some sleep.
Yeah,
Central
we're gonna
Town.
break into the library. That is exactly what we're gonna do.
Steinauer House. Church
there's
and
a-
Druckers. Church and
yeah.
Druckers.
Wow, I love how the sky looks at nighttime.
Drucker House. Franz Bauer. Mill. Meadow. Mill. Forest. Lower Abbey. Upper Abbey. Church. Cloister.
Can we do it?
Infirmary. Upper
Okay.
Monastery Loquarium. Upper Abbey. Chapter. Upper Abbey.
Oh wait, we have to go through the crypt, which was.
Church.
Nope.
Player says oh, shit. Matthew is the Abbey CIRCator. If he sees me, he'll kick me out.
Monk responsible for making rounds in the Abbey to make certain everyone is where they're supposed to be doing what they are supposed to do. Leave then.
I have to keep out of sight until he's passed. Good thing he can't see
Oh
well.
God. I love his face through this entire thing. Good job.
Cloister. Crypt. Library. Player says if I go up these stairs, it's going to take a while to find the records I need. I'll lose some time tomorrow morning unless I turn back now. Option 1 of 2 enter the library.
Now we gotta go now. I think we only have, like, after the night passes, we won't have that much time.
Read.
Oh, this library
Player
is cool.
says what's this? Player says to Herbus Cambrii. The writer is Cadphilas of Salopia. I don't believe I've heard of him. Interesting. He writes about butcher's broom. The Greeks used it to aid with urination and defecation. This author claims it can also help with the reduction of swelling. He seems to be speaking from experience, a wonderful hidden treasure for the abbey.
Not useful though. Damn. Well, can I... What is that sound? I keep hearing it. It's different, like in different places.
Read. Player says, what do we have here? Player says a bifolium taken from a larger text. Mysteria Astra? I'm not familiar with it. Some sort of astronomical text, seems rudimentary, explaining the connection between astrological signs and the elements, and their basic relationship to alchemy. Each sign is governed by one of the 4 elements. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces are the water signs, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo are earth signs, and so on.
Yeah.
It cuts off there. The next page is about something else entirely. Sister Illuminata must be trying to reconstruct the larger text.
Wait, I'm gonna take a picture. So, in case we need to reference this later.
Option 1 of 2 scribe and illustrate bifolia out of page order, so the shift of subject isn't surprising. Player says those 2 pages were interesting enough, I suppose. But, wait, that's the connection between the astrological symbols on Ferencz cipher and the elemental symbols on the Volvel. If I turn the wheel to the element that matches the sign, I can decipher the note he left. Excellent.
Okay.
Read. Player says this is most curious.
Oh, that candle thing is cool.
Player says Historia de Labyrintho Librorum.
What is this? Account of the Labyrinth of Books. Okay. Oh, nope.
Option 1 of 2 HMM. I wonder what secret texts could be hidden in such a place. Player says I'll have to see if I can borrow the book when I have some free time, if Illuminata allows it.
Yeah. This is this a map of the Abbey?
Read. Player says this looks promising. The familiars of the Sisters of Fairsaw Abbey. Yes.
Which one has... Ooh, this one has a date. Can we only look at one? There's Matilda, there's Illuminata, Cecilia, Gertrude, Hildegard, Oblata, or Matilda, same thing. Sophia? Margarita, wait, who's that? Lisbeth, I think that... Do we know that?
Player says Sophie, from Burgitz.
I don't know if I talked to her.
Her family is poor, but they donated flour.
Okay.
Lisbeth, Oblate. She's from Utrecht. It looks like she had an eventful life before coming here.
Oh.
Married with a child, both died. Her merchant family has some connection to Kearsaw through the Kaufmans of Rothenburg Bieter Tauber.
Ah. I forgot to click on that, damn it.
Sister Zedina, this should be good. They donate a fortune to the abbey. No wonder Mother Cecilia and the abbot let her behave as she does. Sister Marguerite. Oh, the blind girl who assists Gertrude. She went blind because of failed surgery on her cataracts. Wealthy peasant family, they donated wool and a pasture in Krim.
Interesting.
Oh, this should be interesting. Sister Illuminata, named Angeline, from the Capoxi family in Perugia. It looks like they have some connection to Kearsaw through an old abbot, Rudolph. Her family donates money to the abbey every year as well. Matilda, Oblate. Yes, the nun Cellarer. She came from Kempton.
Appointed official in a monastery responsible for maintaining food supplies and for maintaining the grounds. Gotcha. Okay.
Merchant family. They donated pigments to use in the scriptorium. Quite thoughtful. I'll have to thank them if I ever get the chance.
Okay. Why is that underlined?
This note says Sister Matilda left the abbey for several months.
Oh?
Why would she go to a hermitage? Seems strange that she's the only entry with such a note. The dates, 3 years ago. This was just before Father Matthias died. Which means it was around the time Baron Rothvogel visited. This has to be it. Matilda must be the nun the Baron harmed on his last visit.
Oh shit.
I should talk to Mother Cecilia again. And maybe Sister Matilda as well.
Maybe?
Sister Gertrude, from Hof. The herbalist. Yes. Her father is an apothecary. That explains it.
That's cool.
Sister Cecilia. Adelheid? Oh, this is Mother Cecilia's record. Wait, she's from the Welser family. They're one of the most powerful families in Augsburg. It looks like her family donates a lot of money to Kearsau every year, more than my family's season 10. Sister Hildegard, from the Goldrick family in Ravensburg. Quite wealthy.
That's a cool name.
It looks like she became the prioress after Mother Catherine. Mother Catherine was the first to enter records, it looks like. Almost 50 years ago.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, cool. I think we can probably end it there. It's been almost 2 hours, and I feel like we learned a lot. So, lots of potential suspects. And it looks like Lucky's daughter and the nun who was harmed by the Baron are not the same person, obviously. But an interesting revelation. So, we'll pick this back up. I think I'm gonna retire for the night. Thank you to everyone who joined. And I'll see you soon.